So if you're someone that dealt firsthand with the bodies of the deceased from these attacks, can you enlighten us at all about what had happened to any of these bodies?
There were a lot of bodies. They were in situations that you cannot understand how brutal these bodies were, in situations that we dealt with things that you cannot imagine. Your brain cannot understand how children, elderly, women, what they went through.
Do you think that the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is going to last? Well, time will tell about that. But check out this clip over here with Tommy Robinson speaking in Israel at the site of the Nova Festival 2 years later with a representative from Zaka. Zaka is an organization that deals with humanitarian causes, and he talks about the descriptions of what he saw in the aftermath of the October 7th attack. So we'll watch this clip together and discuss why it's still relevant today. But first, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch.
So we're here at the Nova Festival. This is the 2-year memorial service because of the previous Jewish holiday on October 7th. Can I ask what your role, what's Zaka?
Zaka is a unique organization that deals with unnatural death, not only in Israel, but internationally. After tsunamis, after earthquakes and different situations of mass casualties around the world, we as people that care for humanity, understanding that it doesn't make difference if you're Jewish or Christian or Muslim, you're God's creation. We come anywhere around the world to take care of giving the dignity to whoever died.
When I understand that, so anyone who's been killed, because there's a massive push to have every dead body and every part of every dead body brought back from Gaza that was taken to Gaza, that's been taken from Israel. Is that what you're part of that?
So let me explain. There's different ways of giving dignity to bodies anywhere around the world. In the Jewish law, it's important to collect every drop of blood and every remain to be able to bring to burial. That's called the Holy of Holiest, of caring for the body itself and the soul. To be able to really to bring the person to his final moments of living their life and burying them, bringing everything to burial, that's the highest of highest.
It's as important to bring a dead body back as it is to bring an alive body for the Jewish community?
For sure. Okay. I would say it's even more.
It's even more.
Because for sure, we hope that hostage comes back alive. For sure. But if we have a body that's not buried the proper way, it's a burden for the family, it's a burden for the person that died.
Okay, on October 7th he participated in Nova Party in the south where he was caught up in the brutal terrorist attack. Despite the great danger he faced, he helped the wounded and returned to save others while under heavy fire. Yuri saved Mayor and mentions the people he saved who returned to Israel in the various hostage deals. He was abducted by Hamas terrorists and taken to the Gaza Strip. During his captivity, he maintained a strong spirit, encouraged his fellow captives and strengthened those around him. After 11 months, it was learned that he had been murdered in a tunnel in Gaza. So he lasted for 11 months, so he didn't just get kidnapped. He gives the names of the people he saved because these people have obviously bear witness testimonies to the fact that he was the man that saved them. So after saving them and continuing to try and save people, he was then taken. He's a hero. That young man's a hero. And then he spent 11 months stuck in a tunnel, only to be executed after 11 months. So if you're someone that dealt firsthand with the bodies of the deceased from these attacks, can you enlighten us at all about what had happened to any of these bodies?
There were a lot of bodies. They were in situations that you cannot understand how brutal these bodies were, in situations that we dealt with things that you cannot imagine. Your brain cannot understand how children, elderly, women, what they went through.
Can you give us any of the details of what the women may have gone through, or what their bodies showed evidence of?
I personally dealt, and I spoke about it in the Parliament of England. I spoke about it in the UN about women's rights, about what I personally dealt with. I came into one of the houses and there was a woman. She was naked. she had nails and different objects in her female organs. There were bodies that were cut brutally that we couldn't understand, and we couldn't identify if it's a man or a woman. This is not something that you see on a daily basis.
As in they'd chopped the genitalia.
Yes.
They'd done so much damage to the genitalia area, you couldn't make out if it was a man or a woman.
Not only that, some of the bodies were chopped to pieces. You couldn't really identify. I'm not talking about houses and places that were hit with grenades. Forget about that situation. I'm talking about coming into a house.
Hand.
Yeah, hand grenades.
So you're talking about coming into a hand and butchering someone with your hands.
Exactly. I'm talking about coming into a house of a woman that she's a Holocaust survivor. After going through the Holocaust, surviving and coming to live in Israel, living on a beautiful kibbutz with her grandchildren and family, and then being butchered in her own bed. And when you come into the house, some houses you came in, you saw bullets, you saw different ammunition that was used. Over here, we came into a room. There was a hospital bed. A woman that was connected to machines couldn't even do anything to anyone in her life. And she was laying there butchered with knives, hammers, screwdrivers, things that you cannot understand. This is not a normal situation of brutality. What people went through over here, it's unbelievable. Coming to a field, a beautiful place after a festival, after seeing young generations having the best time of life, dancing in this beautiful place, in a beautiful environment, and then seeing them laying bodies and bodies and bodies all over.
Oz was murdered sanctifying God's name on the Nova Music Festival at the morning, together with his beloved partner, him and his missus, of blessed memory by killed terrorists in a place where they came only to celebrate. So he loved to travel. You're absolutely, that's just look, just young men, but he's here with his missus just having a party to be hunted down. Every one of them. With 3 older siblings, she was a beautiful blonde girl with a huge heart that only could be. Just brings it home when you read about their personalities, doesn't it? In the army, she served in the air defence as a combat soldier. Later, she completed a commander course and took on various instructional roles. For a big post-military trip, she travelled alone. Powerful experience. And so she decided to study eyebrow design and work in the field before pursuing higher education. Tal was a free and happy spirit. These were all just butchered and murdered by jihadists who were then celebrated on the streets of our capital city week in, week out. And defended, and they're actually defended. There's the deputy leader of the Green Party, the Muslim lads in the UK, called them defence fighters. Defence fighters. We've just walked through a kibbutz full of families and children. There's no defence fighting here. There's bloodthirsty jihadists. One was born throughout her child, and these are all write-ups from their mums and dads. Oh God. Brings home the scale of the devastation to the people of Israel, look.
Here was all set up, so these things inside, these are set up when the rockets are coming, you come and you hide inside there. So let's walk inside there.
So they're the bomb shelters.
All of these basically were started, and these are all messages.
Oh, there's footage. There's footage on the video where they're in somewhere like this.
Of course,
See where they're all hiding. There's been a lot of talk about the fact that many of these attacks didn't happen in the way they happened. There's been a lot of accusations, just so the public are unaware. The Kenyan shopping mall massacre. They butchered, they tortured, they took the fingertips off, they tortured one by one. The Black Clan Theatre, most of these terrorist attacks, they chopped the genitals off, they gouged the eyes out. That is part, which we understand, if anyone understands, is part of striking fear into the heart of the disbeliever, which is why many of these people are massacred. And they usually line each other up to watch these sorts of horrific, but it's good to actually meet a witness who actually witnessed what had happened to some of these bodies. As he said, women who had nails and screwdrivers and knives stuck in their genitalia, stuck in their vaginas, raped. The same happened at the Black Camp Theatre. They raped women with knives.
Yeah, these are things that happened over here also. In the Nova itself, we had women that were tied to trees.
Yeah, explain that to me, because so in the Nova Festival where we are now.
And this is the area where the party was, but everyone was running away out into the fields. Some of them were found behind over here where the trees are. There were women tied to trees, legs spread open, and blood was just oozing out, and then they were shot in the heads. Now you can see, according to all the ballistics and the situations after they got killed, what the situation was. They were raped alive. All these situations, all these things, according to all the evidence of what happened from testimony, not only the testimonies of the survivors that were hiding around, but the situation of checking all the situation, what happened on the scene. You see it from live, that everything was happening over here. Is unbelievable, things that you can't imagine. Your brain goes crazy, but by understanding what happened.
I've just watched a video showing some of it, people's heads being hacked off with blunt objects. Aidan, just look how many young lives were just butchered. Again, young children, many of these, enjoying music, partying, prime of their life, celebrating, and then also think about their parents at home as this is developing. They know their children have gone to the Nova Music Festival, and then they're seeing this developing. Hamas coming in, they're seeing it all on the news. No one can get hold of their kids. Think about what all of these people have gone through. Look at how many. Look at the numbers. And this is where the stage was, which on the video which we've just watched, you see them come in where the first responders are coming to see if anyone's still alive, and it's just dead bodies everywhere. I mean everywhere. It's just dead bodies everywhere. They've just been massacred as we're all trying to hide.
My cousin, he was here in the Nova, and his dad, he texted him and he said, "Dad, I'm scared. Please come, please come, please come." And he didn't blink twice. Straight away he came, and he's a hero. His name is Sivan of Neri, and the son that was here is Tal of Neri.
They survived?
Yeah, they survived. Baruch Hashem, Hashem Yishloach.
They're lucky because look how many didn't.
And it's goosebumps. It's tragic.
Many of those who ran that way for some way lived, and for that reason they didn't. There were different forests. There are different forests here you can hide inside of.
Do you know what I'd say? They're hunted down like animals, and if you watch the video, they weren't just hunted down like animals, they were called animals, because as the Hamas jihadists were shooting them, they were saying, you dogs, we're getting the dogs, and they were chasing them all. And then they were laying their hands over their heads and they're just boom, 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 you dogs, and they're spitting at them. They continue calling them dogs, Jewish dogs, Jewish dogs. Here we've got the women, and then boom, 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 they're massacring them. People have to see, you have to see that video. Am I right that still now in Gaza, which is just in that direction there, some of the bodies of Jewish families are still being held?
19 bodies.
There's still 19 bodies.
Yes.
And majority of them female?
The last female kid just came back last night.
19 bodies left, so you can understand how important it is when you understand it's part of Jewish religion. They need every part of the body back, they need the blood back, they need the whole remains back. So do you have confidence that all of those 19 bodies will be returned?
Well, it's already now, I think it's 39 years for Ron Arad.
It's what?
Ron Arad. Ron Arad was a pilot. That exactly today is 39 years.
And they've never got his body back?
Never got his body back. And the families are in situations of not really knowing what could happen. And that's a fear from every mother, every father, every child, that they're never going to have a place to come, to mourn, to pray, to connect to. Understanding that you don't have a place to finish this horrific circle of not knowing what happened to them.
I wish you luck in getting all the remains back to the people of Israel.
We really appreciate you coming to Israel and giving our support. We really appreciate what you're doing for us, for the Jewish community.
It's just so sick and so sad. And even though it's been 2 years, hearing about what took place is just as gut-wrenching and sick and disgusting as the first time we heard it. In Jewish law and tradition, there is an idea of trying to bury the body as intact as possible. In other words, the same way that you come into the world is the same way that you leave from the world. In fact, the burial process, the death process, is almost like the reversal of life. A person is born into this world from the womb, lives its life in this world, and then when the time comes, is put back into, so to speak, the womb of the earth and born somewhere else, meaning born into the next world. And that's sort of the frame of reference, and we try as much as possible to put the person back into the womb of the earth as intact as they were when they came into this world. Additionally, the closure for the families is a much more easy psychological, spiritual process to have that closure when a loved one has been recovered. This is part of the reason why it's so important to bring back those bodies that have been killed from Gaza. You'd think to yourself, a person might think, at least superficially on the surface, well, if they're already dead, what's the difference? What are we saving already? Well, it's not only about the sanctity of every body, it's also the families that are involved, the ability to have that closure, to have that burial, to have that spot where they can go and they can grieve and they can connect with their loved one that they lost. That is part of the equation as well. One thing that is important to note, and I think one of the reasons why it's so good that Tommy Robinson goes to a place like the Nova Festival on its anniversary, is to bring out, just to emphasize this point of, these are the people, these are the people that we're supposed to be making peace agreements with. These are the people that ultimately are saying that they want statehood, that they want recognition, that they want to be peace partners. Do these Hamas terrorists sound like peace partners? Does it sound like there's anything even close to having civil society with these people? There isn't. And that's one of the reasons why the whole notion of a Palestinian state at this point in time is complete fiction. These are the people that you want to have a state next to. These are the people that right next to you are going to be your partners in peace and going to live happily ever after. It's never been about the creation of a Palestinian state. It's always been about the destruction of the Jewish state. And until we recognize that, until we have clarity on who it is that we're dealing with, we can't move forward towards any sort of peace and long-term stability in that region. We'll keep you apprised of everything as it comes up, how the current ceasefire agreement holds, and we'll be, again, like I said, along with you to report on all of it. If you like this content overall, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Take care.